1. From revolution to ritual, the paradox of religion. Let us begin simply. Sit as you are. Feel the weight of your body received by the chair, the ground steady under your feet. Notice a soft thread of air entering and leaving. Before ideas, before words, there is this uncomplicated fact of being alive. If you can trust this much, contact with what is immediate, you already understand the spirit of the path. When I speak of the Buddha's way, I am not asking you to acquire beliefs. I am inviting you to taste a different relationship with experience, one that does not add extra weight to what is already here. This path did not begin as a promise of heaven, a set of charms, or a passport to a better fate. It began as a revolution of seeing how stress begins, how it deepens, and how it can end. A human being saw this for himself, and then he spent the rest of his life saying to those who would listen, "Look where I am pointing, test it in your own body and mind." But there is a paradox in us. We crave solid ground, even when our own eyes have shown us that everything moves. We yearn to insure ourselves against loss, even though life never signed such a policy with anyone. When fear swells, the heart reaches for a handle. In time, even a living, breathing discovery can be encased in glass and placed on a pedestal. The museum is tidy and the gift shop is open, but the mountain trail has been forgotten. We start buying maps and souvenirs instead of walking. I say this with tenderness, not scorn. I too have prayed as a child prays into the dark, hoping someone out there would spare my loved ones. I too have whispered mantras like a trade. I give this, may I receive that. There is nothing shameful about wanting help. The question is gentler and more precise. Does this way of relating to reality actually reduce the heat of reactivity? Or does it rehearse the same bargain that keeps us anxious and small? There is a way to hold devotion that is beautiful. Bowing can melt pride. Singing can soften what is rigid. Lighting a candle can mark the dignity of grief. But when an act that can awaken humility is turned into a vending machine for luck, it loses its medicine. The Buddha's revolution is not anti-ritual, it is anti-delusion. He refused the superstition that suffering can be canceled by flattery or bribery, that a priest's performance can overwrite the consequences of how we speak, think, and move in the world. He was a friend of clarity. He trusted that a person who truly sees what their actions cost will naturally stop harming. No thunderbolt needed. Imagine you are holding a rope in both hands, pulling with all your strength. On the other end, you think, is the monster of your life. Chaos, loss, mortality. Your arms burn, your teeth clench, your mind is full of strategies. Then a small, radical thought arrives. What if I let go? Not collapse, not give up, but release the inner war against what is already true. For a moment, the tug of war dissolves. You still have bills. The body still ages. But the extra struggle, the private battle that ate your peace, loosens its grip. This is the taste of the revolution. The path is not a creed. It is a craft. It invites us to pay loving attention to beginnings. The instant tightness appears in the jaw when someone criticizes us. The little spark before the gossip catches fire. The warm rush before we take what is not ours to take. If you learn to see the exact moment a habit sprouts, you will also see the moment it can be redeemed. This is not mystical, it is intimate and honest. The promise is not that life becomes without pain. The promise is that pain will not be multiplied by the story of me and mine, the constant courtroom of what I deserve and who is to blame. Why then do traditions, including ours, so often drift into elaborate costumes and claims? Because ritual feels like action when we are helpless. Because formula feels safer than a living inquiry. Because belonging to a group seems easier than being awake alone at 2 a.m. with the truth. And yet, belonging has a rightful place. Community can protect us from isolation. Teachings can save us from blind alleys. The question is always this: are these supports helping us stand on our own attentive feet? Or are they replacing our own looking? You do not have to choose between cold skepticism and credulous fantasy. There is a middle way: confidence without dogma, warmth without superstition. We can honor symbols without confusing them for the thing they signify. A map is useful. It becomes a prison when we refuse to notice the actual terrain under our boots. A teacher's words can be a lantern. They become a cage when we refuse to see by our own light. If you are listening from a hospital room, this path is for you. If you are listening on a bus, angry at something you saw online, this path is for you. If you are listening in a quiet house, unsure how to let go of a loss that will not budge, this path is for you. The entry is always where you are. Feel one breath. Sense the contact of your feet with the floor. Notice the particular flavor of this moment: a whisper of sadness, a thread of impatience, a gentle glow of ease. Let it be exactly as it is for one honest breath. Do not fix. Do not decorate. Just meet what you meet. Already you are closer to what the Buddha discovered than 10,000 clever arguments can bring you. It helps to remember how the drift from revolution to ritual begins. No one wakes up one day and decides to trade aliveness for ceremony. Drift is gradual. A community discovers that certain gestures calm the mind, then forgets why. The gestures are preserved, the insight is not. A story about a wise person's life glows with meaning. Then over time, the story is polished until it suggests magic rather than courage. We want heroes to be gods so that we can excuse ourselves from the hard, patient work of becoming honest humans. We are tempted to outsource our authority. What looks like reverence can be another way to avoid responsibility. Responsibility in this way is good news. It frees you from the fantasy that someone else must fix your life. It hands you the steering wheel of this hour. It says, the way you talk to your child tonight matters. The way you draft that email matters. The way you answer yourself at midnight matters. Not because heaven is keeping a ledger, but because causes shape effects, and the first place those effects land is your own heart. The Buddha called this causal fabric dependent arising, not a cosmic judge, but the quiet law of how conditions give birth to states of mind, and how states of mind give birth to actions, and how actions ripple into a life. The path is tender because it respects your capacity to learn. It does not shame you for not being perfect. It does not force you into a mold. It does not insist that you adopt exotic customs to be worthy. It asks one thing: sincerity. Be willing to see what is actually happening, not what you wish were happening. Be willing to notice the moments you add fuel to the fire and the moments you stop. Be willing to feel what you feel without building a castle on top of it. You will discover that clarity is not cold. It is warm with compassion. When the hand of me relaxes its grip, the heart does not shrink, it widens. Some will say, but if we do not promise people rewards, how will they be motivated? If we do not scare people with punishments, how will they behave? Watch closely and you will see that fear yields compliance, not understanding. Bribery yields performance, not transformation. The Buddha did not make a world of obedient disciples. He taught people to become intimate with their own minds so they could be free. Freedom looks ordinary. Someone who can listen without interrupting. Someone who can apologize without collapsing. Someone who can feel grief without becoming cruel. No fireworks, just less harm. If there is a single sentence that carries the fragrance of this beginning, it is this: see for yourself. Do not outsource your seeing. Do not rush to conclusions. The path is a series of experiments in honesty. Try this now. Think of a person with whom you feel friction. Notice for one breath exactly where the tension sits in the body: throat, chest, belly. Name it softly: tight, hot, flutter. Do not add a story. Then ask with curiosity, not accusation, what am I protecting right now? Often we are guarding an image rather than a life. Just to notice this begins a subtle release. As we walk together, we will explore how cultures shape practice, how the sense of self arises and dissolves, how responsibility without bargaining can be liberating, how rituals can heal when used wisely and harm when used to avoid seeing, how the fixer mind keeps the wheel turning, how ethics protects a quiet mind, and what freedom looks like when nothing flashy happens and yet everything is lighter. But for now, it is enough to admit how easily the revolutionary becomes routine, how quickly a practice becomes a badge, how quietly the heart substitutes charm for courage. There is a story told in many ways. A person searches for their glasses for an hour, looks under cushions and between books, then at last a friend points to their head. We are like this. We search in distant doctrines and impressive ceremonies, and all the while, the capacity to know, clear, simple, unadorned, has been resting within reach. The task is not to reject the world or collect special experiences. The task is to stop overlooking what never left. So begin again with the most basic gesture. Feel one breath, notice one sound. Allow one feeling to be just as it is. If a prayer arises, let it be a prayer for honesty. If a bow arises, let it be a bow to the courage it takes to face this moment without bargaining. If a word arises, let it be enough. Enough running, enough pretending, enough waiting for a better version of life. The doorway is open, and it is where your feet already stand. If the revolution had a slogan, it would be this: nothing in the way, not even the path is in the way. The teachings are kind companions, not idols. The community is a harbor, not a fortress. The teacher is a finger pointing, not a hand to hold forever. You will have to see, you will have to walk, and you already can. 2. Context matters. How worldviews shape practice. Picture a clear bowl of water. Set it in the sun and the water looks transparent. Tint the glass blue and the water looks blue. Frost the glass and it looks cloudy. The water's nature hasn't changed. The container alters how we see it. The Dharma, the living art of ending needless suffering, is like that water. It takes the shape, color, and temperature of the worldviews that hold it. If we do not notice the bowl, we mistake its tint for the truth. A worldview is not only a set of opinions about gods or the afterlife, it is the felt grammar of a culture, how we understand luck and loss, what we believe a person is, what counts as success, whether life feels like a competition or a conversation. Most of it lives below the threshold of words, like the taste of air in your hometown. You breathe it without noticing. When we approach practice, that invisible air becomes the default strategy for meeting pain, longing, and uncertainty. If we know the air we're breathing, we gain freedom to choose. If we don't, we simply repeat our conditioning, dressed now in spiritual clothes. Let us look with kindness and clarity at the air in which the Buddha taught and at the air we are breathing now. In ancient India, the spiritual landscape was thick with ritual and hierarchy. There was a lattice of beliefs about cosmic order, heavens and hells, cycles of birth and death, and a personal essence, an eternal soul that traveled through time seeking union with a universal ground. Priests served as specialists in sacred sound and sacrifice, mediating between the human and the hidden. Purity and pollution were not just metaphors, they organized social life. Religion did not sit politely in a corner. It infused law, family, identity, and destiny. Into that atmosphere, a young seeker sat under a tree and watched the mind. Rather than purifying himself by offerings or lineage, he turned his attention to how stress surges when craving bites down, and how peace returns when the bite softens. He refused the idea that freedom required a ritual technician. He refused the claim that one class of humans had privileged access to truth. He invited everyone, merchants, wanderers, kings, those on the margins, to test for themselves whether clearer seeing changes conduct and whether changed conduct changes the heart. That gesture did not deny the value of culture. It reframed the center of gravity. The axis of effort shifted from ceremony to intention, from cosmic rescue to present responsibility. The field of practice moved from the altar to the living nervous system. Instead of asking which sacrifice is correct, the inquiry became, what is happening in the body when I reach for what I want? What is the cost in my speech when I defend an image of myself? How quickly does resentment, the hottest coal, burn the one who clutches it? The revolution was not against reverence, it was against trance. As the teaching spread, it entered many bowls. Empires rose and gave patronage. Monastic institutions matured. Preachers spoke in marketplaces and at court. To be understood, they used familiar symbols, maps of heavens and hells, images of celestial beings, stories of moral cause and effect. Sometimes these were skillful translations, bridges that carried people from fear to insight. Sometimes the bridges became toll roads, and the traffic jam of promises and payments replaced the quiet work of looking. Over generations, practices that once trained the heart to yield became transactions that comforted anxiety without transforming it. This pattern is not unique to India. Any living insight that enters a culture will be dressed in the culture's clothes. In East Asia, patterns of family devotion and ancestor veneration shape certain forms of practice. In Tibet, visionary ritual and scholarship interwove with local symbolism. In Southeast Asia, the economy of gift-giving and temple building influenced how lay life and monastic life supported each other. Each adaptation held both medicine and risk. Medicine, because people need ways to embody values together. Risk, because the embodiment can eclipse the value. Now consider the air we breathe in the modern West. Our bowls are marked by individualism, efficiency, and a faith that problems yield to technique. Many of us have tasted consumer capitalism's promise that everything important can be bought, optimized, or upgraded. We live with a therapeutic vocabulary that treats all distress as a defect to be fixed quickly, and with a productivity ethic that prizes speed over depth. We are trained to perform our lives on a stage of attention, to brand even our sincerity. We are starved for wonder and allergic to boredom. This too is a worldview. When the Dharma pours into this bowl, it can be misread as a performance enhancer. Mindfulness for better quarterly numbers, compassion as a leadership hack, spiritual practice as a way to stay calm while we keep doing what quietly harms. We turn silence into a commodity, community into an app, teachers into influencers. Ancient words are repackaged to sell the same old promise. With the right routine, you will never feel the ache again. And because the ache is still there, how could it not be in a human life? We double down, confusing effort with intimacy. But the translation problem is not solved by cynicism, it is solved by care. We can ask in any era and language, what function does this teaching serve? Does this story, symbol, or ritual reduce clinging and harm? Or does it help me postpone seeing? If a practice trains attention to be stable and kind, it is carrying the water well. If a practice trains me to outsource responsibility to a priest, to a guru, to a technique, it is tinting the water in a way that distorts the taste. Stories deserve a gentle hearing. Myths are not meant to be audited as news. They are meant to speak in the language of the heart. Poetry, too, tells the truth slant. The danger is not that symbols exist. The danger is that we forget they are symbols and demand that they accomplish what only our honesty can do. A hymn can open a stuck chest. A bow can uncoil pride. A pilgrimage can widen a narrow view. And yet none of these can replace the moment you notice the shape of anger as it moves through your own throat and decide right there not to pass its heat along. Sometimes people ask, why did later communities tell grander stories about the Buddha and his disciples? The kind answer is because awe and affection tend to grow. We tell stories bigger than life to point to what feels bigger than ordinary. The honest caution is, if we make our heroes superhuman, we excuse ourselves from learning what they learned. If enlightenment requires a magic birth or cosmic intervention, then our kitchen table leaves are disqualified from revelation. The Buddha's gift was to make the kitchen table a sacred site, to speak plainly about the causes of suffering and their cessation where we actually live. There is another layer to context, language itself. Words like suffering can sound melodramatic to modern ears, yet the original flavor includes subtler textures, the friction of never quite being satisfied, the background hum of restlessness even on a good day. Mindfulness has been stretched until it covers everything from breath awareness to brand awareness. Its core is simpler, remembering what is happening as it happens, without immediately folding it into the story of me. Karma in casual speech becomes cosmic vengeance. In practice, it means that what we intend and do plants seeds that ripen in mood, habit, and consequence. When we clarify our terms, the path stops sounding exotic and becomes intimate. Worldview also shapes what counts as evidence. In some cultures, a teacher's sanctity is measured by miracles. In others, by learning. In ours, we often want data, randomized trials, fMRI scans. Data can be useful, but the first evidence is always experiential. Does this way of relating lessen reactivity? Does it deepen patience? Does it make me more trustworthy to the people in my care? You are not being asked to believe what contradicts your integrity. You are being asked to test what might enlarge it. Let me offer two short portraits to show how containers shape the taste of practice. A woman sits to meditate after a difficult day. Her inherited mantra is, be productive or be worthless. She treats stillness like a task. Every drift of attention is a failure she must correct. Her jaw tightens. She pushes harder. By the end, she has completed a unit of effort, but her heart is no more at ease. She blames herself. If only I were better at this. The bowl has tinted the water. Another woman sits in the same room, the same day, with the same breath. Her working belief, practiced gently over months, is, let me meet what is here without adding extra. When her mind wanders, she notes it kindly and returns. She is not performing for an invisible evaluator. She is learning the texture of returning. 15 minutes later, her life problems are unchanged, but her relationship to them is quieter. The water tastes like itself. Or consider generosity. In one worldview, giving is a transaction to gain favor with destiny, to secure protection from harm. The hand feels tight, calculating. In another worldview, giving is training and release, a deliberate act to untie the knot that says mine. The same outward gesture carries very different medicine. One feeds anxiety, the other feeds freedom. When the Buddha's teaching entered imperial structures, something similar happened. Patronage brought stability, study, and the chance for communities to grow. It also encouraged record-keeping of merit, public displays of piety, the politics of prestige and donation. None of this is unique to any tradition. It is what humans do when ideals meet institutions. The middle way is neither to romanticize the early, nor to sanctify the later. It is to keep asking, in my life, here and now, does this way of engaging increase clarity and care? Does it nudge me toward responsibility rather than bargaining? In our time, there is a different seduction. To think that because we have science and psychology, we are beyond myth. But we too make myths of progress, of self-sufficiency, of personal branding as salvation. We worship different altars. The altar of the perfect morning routine. The altar of the lab report that will finally certify love as worth it. The altar of public approval. The Dharma is patient. It can be spoken in lab-friendly language or sung in ancient verse. What matters is whether the words help you stop feeding the very pattern that hurts. You do not need to become an expert in history to benefit from this clarity. You only need to develop a small habit of asking, what is the bowl I'm using right now? Before you sit, you might whisper, may this be a time of honesty, not achievement. Before you read, you might ask, am I shopping for a promise? Or am I willing to learn how it feels to be kind for the next hour? Before you give, am I buying safety or opening the fist a little? Here is a small practice you can try this week, not as a task, but as a curiosity. Take a sheet of paper and write at the top, things I secretly assume about life. Let the hand move without censorship. You might discover lines like, if I work hard, I deserve no pain. If I love enough, they will stay. If I'm spiritual, I won't feel rage. If I'm honest, I will be abandoned. Look at them not with judgment, but with interest. These are your bowls. When you meditate, when you speak, when you choose a path, these assumptions color the water. Naming them gently is the first act of freedom. Over time, you will learn to hold tradition and modernity with the same tenderness. Bow to what is beautiful in your inheritance. Forgive what was clumsy or fearful. Appreciate what science can show about the mind. Resist the demand that everything precious must be quantified. Keep what helps you love well and harm less. Let the rest fall away. This is what it means to let context serve practice without letting it rule. When you encounter a story of a saint's radiance, hear it as an invitation to your own capacity for dignity. When you encounter a study about attention shaping the brain, hear it as encouragement that training matters. When you encounter a ritual that moves you, let it move you and ask, does this soften my grasping? If it does, keep it. If it doesn't, set it down without resentment. No need for mockery, no need for clinging. The water knows how to be wet. We will soon turn to the heart of the matter, not what others believed, but what you can verify. The Buddha did not demand allegiance to a worldview. He offered a way to examine experience so that suffering, which is optional in part, becomes less. Before we go there, notice how your shoulder feels as you hear this. Is there a slight lift, a hint of relief? Good. That is the taste of a path that does not require you to pretend. And if there is a pinch of worry, am I doing it right? Place a warm hand on that worry. Tell it, we are learning to see the bowls. We do not have to drink the dye. In the next step, we will return to the simplicity with which the path began. What it means to look directly, without leaning on the old bargains, and find that in the looking itself, something unclenches. The water at last is tasted as water. 3. What the Buddha pointed to, direct seeing here and now. Take off your shoes at the door of this moment. Whatever you've carried, opinions, memories, plans, set them gently beside you as you would set down a coat before entering a quiet room. Direct seeing begins here, not in a theory, but in unguarded contact with what is happening exactly as it is before we add anything extra. What is extra? The second sentence after a sensation, the drama built upon a feeling, the courtroom of why me that blooms around a single unpleasant twitch in the belly. Pain belongs to life. The extra is the story that turns pain into an identity, a grievance, a prediction. Direct seeing is the art of meeting the first arrow cleanly so that a second does not fly. You can test this in one breath. Place a hand on the chest. Feel the subtle lift and fall. Notice the natural rhythm. Now, without changing the breath, listen for the next thought that arises. Do not chase it. Let it arrive like a bird landing on a branch. Quietly name its category: planning, remembering, judging, comparing. Then let it be. Return to the simple swell of breath. For a moment, you have tasted the difference between experience and commentary, between contact and the commentary about contact. That small difference is the doorway through which an entire life can soften. Direct seeing is not a trance or an achievement. It is a style of attention, a way of relating to experience that favors honesty over control, curiosity over opinion, and tenderness over drama. It does not require special beliefs. It requires that we stop skipping the moment we are actually in. A workable map for this is simple and human. Think in 4 frames. Body as anchor. Sensations are the most straightforward teachers. Pressure of the chair under your thighs, temperature on your skin, the tug of fatigue in the eyes, the buzz of adrenaline when your name is called. The body is trustworthy because it speaks in a language older than your ideas. It cannot lie, only be misread. Suri, feeling tone as compass. Every moment carries a flavor, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. This flavor is quicker than emotion. It is the first tilt of the heart toward lean in, lean away, or no big deal. If you want to find where reactivity begins, learn to notice this tiny tilt. It is a hinge on which large doors turn. Porn, mind state as weather. The background climate, calm, restless, cloudy, bright, colors everything. Naming the weather keeps you from arguing with the sky. Ah, the mind is stormy today. There is less need to force a sunny day. Thoughts as messages that may or may not need to be opened. Some are useful, like letters worth reading. Many are circular, like junk mail. Loud fonts, little substance. You can learn to see the envelope without being drawn into the loop. Practice doesn't mean sitting perfectly. It means returning kindly. Consider this sequence for ordinary moments. Notice, name, nurture, return. Shock, notice a tightness in the throat. Name, defending. Afraid, hurt, nurture. Soften the jaw, lengthen the exhale. Place a steady hand on the place that hurts. Return, back to the body, the breath, or the task at hand, with 2% more patience. This small loop changes trajectories. Between the spark and the wildfire, there is a breath. Between the urge and the act, there is a window. Direct seeing trains us to recognize these windows and inhabit them. Neuroscience notes that intense affect often rises and falls in waves of seconds. Contemplative practice noticed this long before it had a name. You can surf an urge for a minute the way you would ride a small ocean swell. Knees soft, attention wide, letting the energy pass without acting it out or pushing it down. The middle way lives here. Neither suppress nor indulge. When anger appears, we neither crown it as king nor exile it as a criminal. We greet it as a powerful visitor and keep the knives off the table. We feel its heat in the belly, hear the arguments it brings, and ask, what is it protecting? What has been hurt? When sadness arrives, we do not drown in it or distract ourselves into numbness. We let its rain do its clean work. This is not passivity. It is discipline, the discipline of intimacy without violence. A common confusion is to mistake thinking about experience for knowing it. Analysis can be helpful in its place, the way a map is helpful before you step outside. But if you never step outside, you learn about weather from diagrams. Direct seeing steps into the air. It lets the cold be cold. It lets the heat be heat. It lets the nervous flutter in the gut be exactly what it is, without a headline. In this contact, something unclenches. A second confusion is to turn attention into a performance. Many of us learn to chase gold stars. We import that habit into practice. I will be the best at calm. This stance tightens the jaw, narrows the breath, and judges every stray thought as failure. The remedy is simple and radical. Measure practice by honesty, not by stillness. A restless session met with kindness is a better session than a still one powered by control. The goal is not to become a statue. It is to become a trustworthy friend to your own mind. You can apply direct seeing anywhere. Try 3 small experiments this week. The 3-second arrival. Before opening a door, an email, or your mouth, feel the feet, the breath, and the face. In 3 seconds, your attention shifts from autopilot to contact. You are less likely to speak from reflex. The tone check. Several times a day, detect the feeling tone of the present moment. Pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. If it's unpleasant, add 1 act of gentle care, a slower breath, a softer shoulder, a kinder word. If it's pleasant, notice the tug to cling. Let the goodness register without grabbing. The weather report. At lunch and before bed, Name the mind's weather out loud. Foggy and irritable with gusts of worry. Clear with low humidity. The humor helps. The naming grants space. Direct seeing also clarifies the difference between pain and suffering. A splinter in the finger is pain. The narrative that someone should have prevented it, the rerun of blame, the fantasy of a life with no splinters, that is suffering. When the story quiets, the splinter remains, but it is easier to remove, easier to endure, and less likely to be used as evidence for a sweeping conclusion about existence. This distinction is not only semantic, it is the difference between a life stacked high with grievances and a life in which difficulties are met and passed through. What about injustice, you may ask? Does direct seeing turn us into quietists who accept harm? No, the opposite. When reactivity calms, clarity sharpens, and action becomes more skillful. You can protest without hatred, set boundaries without contempt, say no without trashing a person's dignity. Direct seeing is not a sedative. It is a lens wipe. It removes the greasy film of me versus you so that the problem can be addressed directly. You won't waste as much energy fighting your own adrenaline. You can use that energy to do what is needed. Difficulties are part of training. Restlessness, dullness, doubt, irritation. These are not signs that you are unfit. They are the curriculum. Treat each one as a teacher. Restlessness says, broaden attention. Include the whole body, not just the thought. Let the eyes open slightly. Stand and walk slowly if needed. Dullness says, brighten attention. Sit tall. Deepen the in-breath. Bring light to the eyes, name objects more distinctly. Doubt says, simplify. Return to one breath, one sensation. Recall why you practice, to reduce harm, to deepen trustworthiness. Irritation says, soften, unclench the teeth, lengthen the out-breath. Put a hand on the place where heat gathers. In time, you'll notice patterns. Anxiety curls often in the upper belly. Anger spikes in the throat and jaw. Shame collapses the chest. This is not a law of nature, but a gentle observation. Knowing where guests like to sit makes hosting easier. You recognize them sooner and are less tempted to hand them the house keys. One of the most transformative textures to notice is the moment of about to. The mind is about to interrupt, about to exaggerate, about to scroll, about to reach for sugar, about to fire off a sarcastic reply. If you can see the about to, freedom widens. You can choose not now, or yes, but with eyes open. This about to is where intention, the heart of karmic patterning, forms. Direct seeing lets you shape intention with a little more wisdom, a little more mercy. Over weeks and months, this is how a life bends toward ease. Beware of turning direct seeing into a new identity. I, the mindful one. Beware of chasing fireworks. Extraordinary experiences may visit, bursts of stillness, waves of love, insights that feel like sunlight through a storm. Bow to them. Do not build a house there. What matters is not how exotic a moment is, but whether it leaves you gentler with your child, more honest in your work, and less quick to wound when you feel cornered. If a practice doesn't translate into these ordinary mercies, it needs adjustment. A simple story. A small bird blunders into a house through an open door. It panics, flapping against the ceiling, beating at the wrong corners, seeing only walls. Someone stands quietly and opens a window. The bird still thrashes for a while. Then, in a soft turn, it finds the draft and slips out. Direct seeing is like that open window. It does not argue with the bird. It does not force a path. It opens a way that was there all along and waits with patience until the creature feels it. You may already have tasted moments of direct seeing without naming them. The instant you catch yourself mid-snap and choose silence. The moment you feel a wave of envy and, instead of stoking it, breathe and wish the other person well. The moment you notice your own hurt and place a hand over it, as you would over a child's. These are not small. They are the living edge of freedom. To support this, you can design your day to favor contact over distraction. Place small bells, arriving breaths before meetings, a loving kindness phrase when you wash your hands, a conscious decision to feel your feet on the ground when you step out of the car. Use ordinary thresholds as training grounds. Each threshold is a promise. You can begin again now. And when you sit formally, keep it modest and sincere. 10 to 20 minutes once or twice a day is enough to change a life. Choose a posture that is alert and kind. Choose a simple object, breath at the nostrils, the rise and fall of the belly, or the sensation of contact where the body meets the chair. When the mind wanders, acknowledge it with a soft label in return. If emotion swells, give it space. If insight whispers, smile and keep breathing. You are not collecting stamps. You are remembering how to be here without argument. Over time, direct seeing will show you something more startling. That the one you thought was doing all this, the solid center, does not stand apart from the flow of sensations, feelings, mind states, and thoughts. The doer is woven from the same threads it is trying to manage. This is not a philosophy to adopt. It is a freshness you recognize in glimpses. When the breath breathes itself, when kindness acts before I takes credit, when the world moves without an inner referee. We will look more closely at this in the next section. For now, it is enough to trust that nothing essential is threatened by seeing clearly. What falls away is the strain of pretending to be in charge of the river. Let's end this portion with a small ritual of honesty, free of superstition. Close the eyes if you like. Feel the body, the breath. Ask quietly, what is here? Let whatever is here answer for itself. Do not fix. Do not bargain. Now ask, what is needed? Perhaps a softer breath, a straightened spine, a kind word you owe someone, a 5-minute walk, a glass of water. Offer that, then ask, what can be set down? Perhaps a grudge, a headline, a rehearsed rebuttal. Set it down for 1 hour. This is practice. This is direct seeing married to direct kindness now. We are not trying to become special. We are discovering how ordinary life feels when we stop adding friction. Later, doctrines will make more sense because they will be reflections of what you have already tasted. For now, the invitation is beautifully simple. Meet what you meet, feel what you feel, say what is true and kind, and notice with gratitude each small place where the knot loosens by itself when you stop pulling. In the next step, we will explore the quiet revolution that direct seeing initiates, what it shows us about the center we assume is there, and how life opens when that center is seen as fluid, light, and free. For no one at the center, anatta without jargon, let's begin with something simple and quiet. Close your eyes if you like and listen to a sound in the room. Distant traffic, a hum from the vent, the whisper of your own breath. Notice how hearing happens on its own. You don't have to instruct it. Now hear. Sound meets awareness and there is hearing. Before a story appears, before a label arrives, experience simply blooms. In this freshness, a subtle question can be asked gently. Where is the me in this hearing? Not as a trick, not to win a debate, just as a soft curiosity. There is hearing. Can you find the owner of it? The teaching called anatta, often translated as not self or no fixed self, points to something you can verify in moments like this. It does not deny that there is a person here, a name, a history, relationships, responsibilities. It does not ask you to act as if your life were a ghost story. It asks whether, inside the flow of sensations, feelings, moods, and thoughts, there exists a separate, unchanging manager, the one in charge, the one to whom everything happens. When we look carefully, what we find is a procession, not a monarch. Events arising, shifting, dimming, replaced by other events. No throne, no throne holder. A helpful way to approach this is to examine the strands that make up what we call me. Ancient language describes 5 families of experience that, braided together, feel like a self. The body warmth and coolness, pressure and tingling, ache and ease, posture and motion. Feeling tone, each instant colored as pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, the first lean toward more, less, or no matter. Perception, the labels that sort the world, red light, friend, danger, email. Intentions and patterns, tendencies that move us, reaching, resisting, holding, releasing. Consciousness, the simple capacity to know, which lights up sight when there is form, lights up hearing when there is sound, lights up thought when there is an image or sentence. When these run together quickly, with strong glue from habit and memory, we experience a solid I. Slow them down even a little, and you begin to see threads where a rope seemed to be. Try this. Bring to mind a recent moment when you felt irritated. Recreate it lightly, enough to feel a trace of it. Now scan what's actually present. Perhaps heat in the face, body, an unpleasant flavor, feeling tone. A label like they shouldn't, perception. An urge to correct or withdraw, intention. Awareness of all this, consciousness. The sense of I am irritation loosens when you see the arrangement. There is irritation, but it is not a person. It is a pattern appearing in a field. Another simple inquiry. Look for the doer in a small action. Decide to raise your hand in 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. The hand rises. Before the movement, micro-intentions unfold. Tiny currents coalescing into action. You can feel the preparation if you watch closely. There is agency, a capacity for meaningful action. But the author we imagine, a little controller sitting in our head pulling levers, is nowhere to be found. What we call choice emerges from conditions, values you practice, emotions current in the system, what you've eaten, how you slept, what you care about, what you remember. You are responsible, but not because a permanent soul steers a body like a machine. You are responsible because patterns lead to outcomes, and you can cultivate patterns. This is where people fear nihilism. If there's no fixed self, nothing matters. Who does anything? Who suffers? Who loves? The answer is more tender and sane than the fear. The person is a useful way to talk about a complex process, like the word city, which refers to millions of interactions, roads, lights, laws, kitchens, quarrels, lullabies. Person, names, and unfolding. There is no single brick that is the city, and yet the city is not imaginary. You can live there, vote there, be harmed, or help there. Similarly, this organism can learn, regret, forgive, vow, and act. What falls away is the belief in a solid core that must be protected at all costs. When the imaginary core softens, what remains is a responsive, learnable, vulnerable, dignified life. More flexible, less afraid. A few everyday pictures can help. Consider an orchestra. Music appears full and moving. There is a conductor, there are sections, but the music does not reside in a single instrument. It exists as relationship, timing, listening, skill, breath. Or think of a river. At any point you dip your hand, the water you touch is new, yet the river has a name and a path. Or a conversation thread on your phone. Messages appear and disappear. The thread exists, but there is no single message you could point to as the thread itself. Continuity without a core object. This is how the self can be. Continuous enough to take responsibility, empty enough not to be rigid. Memory is the great seamstress. It stitches moments into a cloak we call identity. Without memory, crossing a street would be hard. With memory, we can learn languages, jobs, love, but the cloak can become armor. We begin to believe we are our stories, our injuries, our triumphs, our diagnoses, our roles. Stories are helpful when they guide care. They harm when they obscure the fact that each moment is fresh, with new possibilities. Anatta does not ask you to throw away your cloak. It asks you to notice that it is a garment you wear, not your skin. Direct seeing from the last section meets this teaching here. In the seen, just the seen. In the heard, just the heard. In sensation, only sensation. When you rest in this simplicity, the sense of an inner observer separate from what is known fades. There is knowing, but no knower standing apart. There is breathing, but no breather directing it. There is kindness, but no owner of it to polish into pride. These are glimpses, not yet permanent. And that is more than enough. A glimpse can rewire the trust you have in life. To explore this safely, you can run 3 small experiments. 1. The mind experiment. For 1 minute, replace my with this. This hand is warm. This mind is worried. This heart is tender. Feel how the possessive relaxes. There is intimacy without ownership. 2. The who experiment. When a strong state arises, rage, shame, joy, ask softly, who is this happening to? Don't answer intellectually. Look for the one you assume is the target. You will find sensations, images, sentences. You will not find a solid recipient apart from them. The very searching creates space. 3. The vanishing point. In walking or breathing, notice a moment when the activity happens by itself. Walking walks, breath breathes. This is not to deny your participation. It is to notice participation without a central controller, like dancing when the music carries you. For a breath or two, the sense of I am making this happen steps back. It feels like ease. What about love? If there is no one who loves, love becomes more available when there is less guarding. When you are not preoccupied with defending a fragile self-image, attention frees to meet another's reality. Compassion is less about me, the kind person, and more about the natural warmth that flows when entanglement loosens. Boundaries become cleaner too. Without a rigid identity to prop up, no can be said without venom. Without a brittle me, yes can be given without fear of vanishing. Grief too changes texture. The absence of a loved one will ache. Tears will come. The difference is the absence of the extra layer. This shouldn't have happened to me. I am marked. Life is against me. The ache is not weaponized. It becomes a clear river. You can drink from it, the love in it, without drowning in the story. This is what I mean by clean sorrow. It honors the bond without constructing a prison from it. Some worry that the teaching of not self dissolves moral responsibility. In practice, the opposite occurs. When the center is seen as fluid, denial has less grip. It becomes easier to admit harm because there is no permanent idol to protect. I did that can be spoken without the subtext, which means I am forever that. Accountability grows friendlier and therefore deeper. Apology becomes an act of care, not self-destruction. Repair becomes possible because the one who repairs is not busy pretending to be flawless. Here is where the distinction between authorship and participation helps. You participate in the shaping of this life. You are not its sole author. Countless conditions, genetics, family, culture, luck, weather, the breakfast you ate, contribute to each moment. Within that web, intention matters profoundly. It is one of the few levers you can train. The shape of your attention, the habits you nourish, the vows you keep, all of these tilt probability toward less harm. Anatta does not remove the lever. It clarifies how the lever works. Instead of a sovereign self-issuing commands, there is a living system that can be tuned toward wisdom and care. You can become a better instrument for goodness to play through. There are pitfalls here. One is the spiritual bypass, using no self to dodge uncomfortable feelings or to avoid owning impact. Phrases like, "there's no one here to be hurt," can be forms of cruelty when applied to others' pain or to your own. The middle way asks for both clarity and warmth. Feelings are not enemies. They are weather that deserves shelter, not exile. Another pitfall is to weaponize emptiness as superiority. I see through the illusion, others are deluded. This too is just a self in a subtler costume. The remedy is always the same: honesty married to kindness. If emptiness does not make you gentler, you have misunderstood it. Let's return to the body where these teachings are least abstract. Where in the body does I seem to live? Many point to the head, behind the eyes, or to the chest. Sit quietly and look. You may find pressure, pulsing, warmth, electric buzz. Can you find the owner of these sensations, or only sensations? Now think a thought on purpose. I am sitting here. Watch it arise and pass. It claims to be about a solid self, but it too is just a sound in the mind. Repeat, I, softly like a bell. The word loses weight. It becomes vibration. What remains is experience, lively and unsupervised, not needing a center to be what it is. Relationship reveals these truths quickly. During a heated conversation, notice the rush to defend a position as if defending your life. Feel the constriction. Then let a breath open the ribs. Ask, what matters more here, winning or understanding? If understanding matters more, your neck will soften. The need to be the center shrinks. Listening, which is the opposite of selfing, enters. The other person becomes an unfolding world, not a threat to your status. This is how not self makes families safer. This view also invites play. Without a rigid self to maintain, experimentation becomes lighter. You can try a new way of speaking, a new rhythm of work and rest, a new response to an old trigger. If it helps, keep it. If it hurts, set it down. There is less shame in changing because no permanent essence is being betrayed. You are not a statue to preserve. You are music to keep tuning. You may ask, if there is no fixed self, what is reborn moment to moment? Patterns, habits, the taste of tendencies. When conditions line up, stress, an unkind comment, hunger, anger appears. When gratitude is practiced, when rest is sufficient, patience appears. In this sense, rebirth is happening all day. The rebirth of grasping, the rebirth of letting go, the rebirth of generosity, the rebirth of spite. Each moment is a vote. Not self makes voting easier because it removes the crushing weight of identity. I am an angry person. No. Anger appears. It can be understood. It can be fed or starved. A small practice to close this section. Sit quietly for 5 minutes. With each inhalation, whisper inwardly, just this. With each exhalation, whisper, not mine. Let just this point to the raw texture of the moment. Sound, warmth, pulsing, thought. Let not mine soften the grasping that turns experience into property. If not mine feels cold, switch to not owned. If that feels cold, try held lightly. The words are not sacred. They are training wheels for a new balance. After 5 minutes, stand and continue your day with a question tucked under your tongue. What if nothing in this moment needs an owner? As the sense of a central controller relaxes, a different kind of strength appears. Not the brittle strength of being right, but the supple strength of being real. From here, the discussion of cause and effect, of how intentions shape outcomes, becomes clean. We can speak of responsibility without fear, of consequences without shame, of practice not as bargaining with fate, but as tuning conditions for flourishing. That is where we will turn next. How karma, understood without superstition, becomes an ally of freedom. 5. Karma without bargaining, responsibility over transaction. Let's start where harm actually begins, in a small bend of the heart. Before a word leaves the mouth, before a hand moves, there is a tilt, an intention. It can be as quiet as, I want to protect myself, as quick as, I'll get the last word, as tender as, Let me help. In the old language, karma means intention, not fate, not a cosmic accounting spreadsheet. The living intention that leans the mind and body in a direction. From that lean, actions flow. From actions, results. Karma is not a judge we must appease. It is a description of how a life is shaped from the inside out. A clear way to feel this is to notice the two kinds of fruit that every act bears. Immediate fruit, the mood in the body-mind the moment you act. Speak a half-truth, feel the stomach tighten, the breath shallow. Tell a hard truth with care, feel the ribs open, the ground under the feet. The first ear that hears your harsh tone is your own nervous system. The first hand that is burned by your impatience is your own chest. Downstream fruit, the ripple that moves into relationships and circumstances. Trust grows or thins. Opportunities widen or narrow. Habits thicken or loosen. Not all ripples are visible now, and not all future events are the ripples of your act alone. But a pattern accumulates and it has a taste. We are used to thinking in ledgers. Debits and credits, cosmic points won or lost. Ledgers create anxiety and bargaining. If I do X, may I be spared Y? A more accurate and kinder image is a garden. Every intention is a seed. Repetition waters it. Attention is sunlight. Context is the climate. Some seeds sprout fast. A snide remark, instant regret. Some seeds lie dormant until the season is right. A kindness remembered in a crisis. The harvest isn't punishment or reward from outside. It is the natural outcome of what's been planted and tended. You cannot bribe a garden. You can only learn to garden well. 4 practical observations about this garden. 1. Intention shapes the seed. 2 identical actions can plant different seeds depending on the heart behind them. A smile to manipulate water's deceit. A smile to encourage water's warmth. Outwardly similar, inwardly distinct. 2. Repetition strengthens roots. What you do often, you do easily. If you practice snapping at small annoyances, your mind will serve that habit without being asked. If you practice pausing and softening, that pause becomes available under pressure. 3. Attention fertilizes. What you ruminate on grows. If all day you replay insults, resentment bulks up. If you deliberately register small goodnesses, gratitude gets a gym membership. Neurons that fire together wire together. The old sages and the new labs agree. 4. Context modulates outcomes. Seeds don't sprout in a vacuum. Other people's choices, bodies, weather, culture, chance, all shape what happens. Karma is a key stream among many. It is not the only river in the valley. This last point matters because the teaching is often misused to blame victims or to create fatalism. They must have deserved it. I'm doomed by my past. Both are unkind and untrue. Many kinds of causes converge in any event. A person can be hurt by another's negligence, by a drunk driver, by a storm. None of that is their fault. Karma doesn't require us to invent reasons that make suffering palatable. It invites us to locate the levers we actually hold. Our intentions now, our responses now, our patterns now. That is where freedom lives. Another common confusion is to imagine karma as debt that can be paid off by ceremony. If I chant this many times, if I offer that much, my old acts will be canceled. Rituals can be beautiful when they train humility, gratitude, and attention, but they cannot overwrite cause and effect. You can't negotiate with a hot stove. If you touch it, you get burned. The wise response is not to flatter the stove. It is to learn to use a glove, to handle heat skillfully, to redesign the kitchen. In human terms, apologize where you created harm, repair what can be repaired, and train your intentions so you stop grabbing the burner. Sometimes people ask, but if there is no fixed self, who suffers the result of past deeds? The gentlest answer is, the process does. The same stream that once moved in a certain way now feels the turbulence that past movements generated. You don't have to adopt metaphysics to verify this. Eat poorly for a week, your mood and energy bear the fruit. Speak kindly for a week, your relationships bear the fruit. The stream is continuous enough for learning to matter, empty enough that you are not chained to an old identity. There is no immortal debtor to be punished. There is a living system that either keeps planting the same thorns or learns to plant herbs. Let's clear 3 more distortions. 1. Karma is not fate, it's probability tilted by habit. Patterns make some outcomes more likely, never inevitable. At every moment, a small wedge of freedom opens. Train that wedge. Karma is not a weapon. If you wield it to shame yourself or others, this is your karma. You thicken ignorance. Use it as a mirror. What intention was here? What result followed? What intention will I train next? Karma is not only moral, it is practical. If you routinely sleep too little, snap at people, and flood yourself with outraged news, your day will taste like that. If you keep a clean boundary, drink water, and give 3 sincere compliments, your day will taste like that. This too is karma. How do we work skillfully with this in ordinary life? Begin with vows small enough to keep and large enough to matter. Vows are not bargains with the universe. They are directions given to your own heart. 3 daily vows to try for a week. The pause vow. When irritated, I will take 1 full breath before speaking. Put notes where you need them. On the phone, on the fridge, on your keyboard. 1 breath won't make you wise, but it gives wisdom a door. The repair vow. When I cause harm, I will acknowledge and make 1 concrete repair within 48 hours. That might be an apology, an undone task completed, a restitution paid, a boundary clarified. Repair prevents bad seeds from rooting deeply. The generosity vow. I will give something each day that I cannot be paid back for. A bit of money, attention, labor, encouragement. Not to accrue points, but to loosen the hand. Generosity is how we prune fear. Add to this a simple evening practice, the seed journal. 3 columns, 5 minutes. What seed did I water today? Impatience, patience, jealousy, gratitude, avoidance, courage. What conditions were present? Hungry, rushed, tired, praised, criticized, bored. What seed will I water tomorrow on purpose? Pick 1 small act. I will tell the truth kindly to Sam about the missed deadline. This is not perfectionism, it is gardening with attention. You will still make mistakes. Good. Mistakes are data. They show you where old roots still drink. They give you chances to practice repair. What about ritual and devotion? Are they useless? Not at all, if understood as training, not transaction. Bowing can train humility, which weakens the seeds of arrogance. Chanting can steady attention, which weakens the seeds of compulsive reactivity. Pilgrimage can widen perspective, which weakens the seeds of self-importance. Giving to community can build interdependence, which weakens the seeds of isolation. The rule of thumb is simple. After the ritual, is my grasping looser? Is my courage steadier? If yes, the ritual carried water. If not, set it down gently and choose a form that does. Let's apply this to a few sticky places. Already in anger, it claims to protect. Sometimes it does. The seed to watch is the intention behind it. Protecting the vulnerable from harm is different from protecting your pride from embarrassment. One burns clean, one leaves a toxic film. Train the difference by asking, what am I protecting, before you act? Guilt and shame. Useful guilt is the ache that says, I hurt someone, let me mend. It points outward toward repair. Useless shame is the swamp that says, I am trash. It points inward to self-torment. The first is a seed of conscience. The second is a seed of paralysis. Don't water paralysis, water repair. Envy. It shrinks the world to a race. Envy's seed whispers, their joy threatens mine. The antidote seed is gladness for others, mudita. Practice deliberately. When you notice envy, say a quiet blessing for the other's good fortune. It will feel false at first. Keep watering. The soil changes. Anxiety. Much of it is the habit of rehearsing pain without capacity building. Replace a portion of worry time with 2 acts: strengthening, sleep, walk, hydrate, simplify your commitments, and connection. Tell one honest fear to a trusted friend. Train the nervous system towards safety signals. The garden responds. We should also address suffering that clearly isn't deserved. Children abused, communities crushed by policy, accidents that shatter lives. Here, karma asks nothing from the victim but self-care. The work belongs to the web. Those who cause harm must be held. Those with power must repair. Your practice can include participation in that repair, activism, advocacy, solidarity, done with a heart that refuses hatred while refusing to look away. Karma is not a political, it is ethical causality. It cares how we shape the world together. Sometimes the consequences of past actions arrive like weather you did not order. An injury flares. A diagnosis lands. A betrayal is revealed. The teaching does not require you to pretend it is fine. It invites you to ask, what now reduces harm? Perhaps rest? Perhaps a boundary? Perhaps a legal step? Perhaps forgiveness? Later, not as a performance, but as a release when it is safe. The garden keeps teaching. You cannot uproot the past, but you can refuse to plant more of the same. There is a phrase you can practice when the urge to bargain shows up. No deals, just practice. Say it kindly with a half smile. If I meditate, may the test results be good. No deals, just practice. If I donate, may my child be safe. No deals, just practice. Not because you are cold, but because bargaining fractures your attention. It pulls you out of the one place you can truly influence. The quality of this moment's intention. When you let bargains go, prayer itself becomes clean. May I be steady enough to meet whatever comes with care. That kind of prayer waters courage. Courage is what you will need, no matter the results. What about the phrase, no one to pay karma, which sometimes appears in advanced teachings? It means this. When identification with a solid self thins, suffering loses its personalized sting. Pain still appears. The hand is not cut by it in the same way. At the same time, because greed, hate, and delusion no longer drive behavior, no new harmful seeds are planted. The stream carries the momentum of old weather until it runs out, while the present stops feeding new storms. This is not a loophole to escape consequence. It is a description of how peace behaves. There is a quiet joy available when you stop treating virtue as a chore or bribe and begin to feel it as relief. To tell the truth is simpler. To keep a promise is lighter. To admit I was wrong is cleaner than the labor of defending a lie. These are not puritanical demands. They are ergonomic designs for a mind that wants less friction. Ethics becomes a craft. How do I move through this day with fewer sharp edges? The answer is not in the sky. It is in the handful of intentions you train and retrain until they become your second nature. A small set of if-then plans can help. This is cognitive science meeting karma. If I notice my heart rate jump in a meeting, then I will place both feet on the floor and feel the soles for 10 seconds before speaking. If I catch myself composing a defensive email, then I will sleep on it and ask a colleague to read it in the morning. If I feel the tug to scroll angrily, then I will set a 3-minute timer and, when it ends, stand up and drink water before deciding to continue. These plans plant seeds that are easy to water when you are tired. Make a few. Practice them until the body remembers without a debate. Finally, rejoice, not in a score, but in a direction. When you keep a hard promise, let your body register the ease. When you hold your tongue and the moment passes without a new wound, feel the relief. When you praise someone sincerely, taste the warmth in your chest. This gladness at the good is not vanity. It is the psyche's way of learning what to repeat. If you never let goodness land, you starve your own motivation. Let it land. Then give thanks quietly, not to a cosmic treasure, but to the countless conditions, teachers, parents, strangers, books, breaths, that made that small goodness possible through you. Gratitude is also a seed. It multiplies what it touches. Why do we reach for bargains in the first place? Because fear wants control, and bargaining feels like control. We will explore that impulse next. The way rituals can either soothe wisely or seduce us into dependency, and how to choose forms that truly free the heart. For now, trust this simpler economy. What you practice grows. What you water lives. No deals, just practice. And the garden will show you what kind of person is ripening here. 6. Why we reach for rituals. Fear, control, and the need to soothe. There is a reason the human hand reaches for rhythm when the heart trembles. A lullaby settles a child not because the facts have changed, but because the pattern tells the body, you're safe enough to rest. In adulthood, we don't outgrow this need. We rename it. We set the mug the same way each morning. We straighten the desk before a difficult call. We whisper a line before stepping onto a stage. These are not eccentricities. They are small architectures of safety. Rituals at their best are kindness shaped into rhythm. When life is uncertain, and when is it not, the nervous system longs for predictability. It is built to scan for danger, to brace against the unknown. Predictable sequences calm the scanning, like a soft hand on a skittish horse. This is part of why rites appear in every culture. Meals begun with thanks, doors crossed with a pause, thresholds marked with songs, seasons turned with fire or water. Rituals give the body a map. The map doesn't control the weather. It teaches us where to shelter and how to travel together. There is another reason we reach for ritual. Belonging. Doing a thing together at the same time, in the same way, gives a scattered tribe one heartbeat. When grief or joy is bigger than any one chest can hold, a shared pattern helps us carry it. The words we repeat, the gestures we echo, knit us into a fabric sturdy enough to hold tears and laughter without tearing. Community needs more than opinions, it needs rhythms. And yet a kind rhythm can become a cage. When fear is left alone too long, it starts bargaining. If I do this, then that will happen. Ritual becomes a contract with fate, a way to feel in charge of the uncontrollable. We light a candle not to honor and remember, but to try to purchase immunity. We bow not to soften pride, but to secure favor. We repeat a phrase not to steady attention, but to press a cosmic button. The deeper our helplessness, the more tempting the bargain. This temptation is understandable. It is also a cul-de-sac. There is a clean fork in the road. Transactional ritual and transformational ritual. Transactional ritual says, I perform, reality rewards. Its fuel is anxiety. Its payoff is brief relief. It often demands more and more elaborate performance as fear returns. Transformational ritual says, I practice to shape my heart. Its fuel is sincerity. Its payoff is capacity. It often becomes simpler over time because the point is no longer the steps but the qualities they cultivate. They can look similar on the outside. Two people light a candle. One makes a deal with the universe to protect a loved one. The other names the loved one aloud, thanks the life they are, and asks for the courage to meet whatever comes with care. Same flame, different medicine. How do you tell which road you're on? You don't need a theologian. You need a short internal audit after the ritual ends. 4 questions are enough. Is my grasping looser? Is my honesty stronger? Is my heart more available to others' reality? Am I more willing to take responsibility for the next wise step? If yes, the ritual carried water. If not, you may have dressed avoidance in sacred clothes. Let's explore why rituals work at all before we decide how to use them. The body loves predictability. Breath slows when the sequence is known. Muscles release when the next action is obvious. Polyvagal science calls these safety cues. Predictable routines, lighting the same lamp, saying the same phrase, placing the same hand on the same place, signal the system to move from threat to social engagement. Attention narrows enough to stay with what is here. It widens enough to include the other person. Sports psychology has noticed this too. Pre-shot routines calm the jitters and focus the mind. In other words, ritual can be a nervous system thermostat, turning the temperature down so we can respond rather than react. Rituals also organize meaning. A funeral is not only logistics, it is a story enacted. A graduation is not only a roll call, it is a community saying, "We see your effort." A wedding is not only paperwork, it is a vow made public so that promise has witnesses. When meaning is embodied, hands joined, names spoken, rings exchanged, the lesson sinks deeper than thought. We remember in our bones. This is why stripping life of all ritual in the name of efficiency makes us brittle. We need ways to embody what we value, or else our values remain slogans. The danger is excess and error. Excess, when the pattern hardens into compulsion and punishes deviation. Error, when we mistake correlation for causation and imagine steps can dictate outcomes. One way to spot excess. How do you feel when your ritual is interrupted? If the answer is murderous, consider loosening your grip. One way to spot error. Do you believe the ritual controls the universe or your own conduct? If the answer is the former, consider a gentler story. We do not have to swing to the other extreme and declare all rituals childish. The middle way holds form lightly. It keeps what helps and releases what harms. Here are principles for designing rituals that soothe wisely and strengthen freedom. Surishorino. Start with intention, not outcome. Name the quality you are cultivating. Steadiness, humility, gratitude, courage, clarity. Write it somewhere you'll see. Let the ritual's steps be in service to that quality, not to a promised result. And I keep it simple. 3 steps are easier to enter sincerely than 13. Complex choreography seduces the mind into performance. Make it embodied. Include 1 sensory anchor. Touch, posture, breath, sound. The body is the gateway to safety. Here we use language that invites, not commands. May I be steady softens. I will be steady or else tightens. Build flexibility in. A good ritual can be shortened without collapsing or adapted without panic. Rigidity is the ego's demand that reality conform. Include closure. Begin and end the sequence on purpose. Open loops breed anxiety. Embed kindness. If you miss a day, the ritual reminds you to resume, not to scold. Puerto. Check function regularly. Every month, ask the 4 questions above. Adjust or retire the ritual if it no longer serves. Here are some examples to make this practical. A morning anchor. Stand at the sink. Place 1 hand on the belly, 1 on the chest. Inhale and say softly, arrive. Exhale, align. Inhale, begin. 3 breaths. Then touch something you value, a book, a photo, a plant, and step into the day. Intention, presence over autopilot. Embodiment, hands and breath. Closure, 3 breaths, then go. A mealtime thanks. Before eating, look at the plate for 5 seconds and name 3 invisible contributors. Rain, driver, nurse, or soil, grocer, sun. This is not a spell to banish illness. It is a practice of interdependence that loosens isolation and entitlement. Oh, a conflict de-escalator. When voices rise, invoke a shared phrase. Pause, paraphrase, propose. Each person repeats the other's view to their satisfaction. paraphrase, then offers one concrete next step: propose. Not a charm, a structure. It honors dignity and keeps the nervous system from boiling over. Safwan. A grief chair. Choose a chair by a window. Once a week at a set time, sit there with a photo or object and say the name of the person you miss. Light a small light. Speak one memory aloud. Breathe 3 soft breaths into the ache. Blow the light out and say, "I will carry you by loving well." Grief needs containers so it doesn't flood everything. Ritual gives it a room with windows. An evening release. Write 3 sentences. Today I'm grateful for. Today I cared by. Today I sat down. Then place the paper in a bowl or tear it up. Teach the body to stop rehearsing the day. A device threshold. Before unlocking your phone, place a hand on your heart and ask, for what? Name one thing: to check the map, to send love, to learn. If the answer is to numb, set a timer. Freedom begins by telling the truth at the door. A pre-performance cue. Before a presentation or difficult talk, feel your feet, lengthen the spine, soften the eyes, and silently say, steady, clear, kind. 3 words, 3 breaths. You are not conjuring success. You are conjuring the conditions under which your best capacities can show up. These are rituals that reduce reactivity and increase responsibility. They are not guarantees. They are rehearsals for the qualities you hope will arise when life surprises you. What about prayer? Many of us were taught the language of petition. Give me this, spare me that. If this language is dear to you, you need not throw it away. You can tune it, shift from contract to consecration. May I be brave enough to tell the truth. May they be held by good care. May I be given whatever is needed to meet this with love. The grammar changes from demanding to dedicating. You are not asking the weather to change. You are asking to be a trustworthy person in any weather. This form of prayer is not superstition. It is intention set to music. Sometimes rituals become counterproductive by accident. A meditation timer dings and you panic if it's the wrong tone. A sequence you meant to do daily becomes a whip. If you notice this, try a gentle experiment in detox. Skip one step on purpose and let the anxiety rise without feeding it. Breathe. Smile slightly. Watch the system prove to itself that safety isn't located in the step. Then redesign the ritual with fewer moving parts. You are teaching your nervous system that stability lives in attention, not in choreography. A word about communal ritual. Done well, it creates belonging without coercion. It gives those who grieve a chorus, those who vow a witness, those who repent a path to repair. Done poorly, it shames, excludes, or manipulates. If you lead, keep consent at the center. Explain the meaning of gestures and offer alternatives. Make room for silence. Avoid equating participation with worthiness. Remember that the point is to cultivate qualities together, not to police conformity. There is also a secular shadow we should name. In cultures like ours, rituals are often repackaged as productivity hacks, morning routines to squeeze 110% from every hour, evening stacks to optimize sleep for tomorrow's output. There is nothing wrong with caring for your energy. The question is whether your routine serves aliveness or exhausts it. Does your ritual make you more available for love and truth, or does it turn you into a machine that fears rest? A wise ritual is spacious. It leaves room for surprise. If you feel allergic to the word ritual, call it a routine with reverence. Reverence here means seeing the ordinary as worthy of attention. Washing a bowl becomes a chance to feel warm water on skin. Locking the door becomes a conscious promise to return. Placing keys in a dish becomes an acknowledgement. I came home alive. Rituals can also be places to practice repair. In some communities, confession has become a theater of shame. It need not be. A healthy acknowledgement ritual looks like this. I did X. It caused Y. I feel Z. I will do A, B, C to repair. Then the community says, thank you. We will hold you to your plan. No groveling, no exile, no denial. Just adult medicine. And what of superstition? It thrives wherever anxiety and uncertainty meet a hunger for control. A middle way meets anxiety directly. Breath, posture, contact, truth, and meets uncertainty with humility. It does not sneer at the human need for comfort. It refuses to lie about what comfort can purchase. It keeps rituals honest by measuring them against outcomes in the heart. Less grasping, more care. Less fantasy, more capacity. Let us end this section with a small exercise, a ritual about rituals. Sit or stand comfortably. Place one hand on your abdomen, one over your heart. Inhale and say inwardly, soothe. Exhale, soften. 2 more breaths like that. Now ask quietly, what is one ritual I use to bargain? Name it. Smile at the part of you that is afraid. Then ask, what is one ritual I can reshape to cultivate courage or kindness? Describe the simplest version of it. 3 steps, 1 minute. Decide when you'll try it next. Finally whisper, no contracts, only qualities. Feel how the body responds to that sentence. If there is relief, trust it. If there is resistance, trust that too. Meet it slowly. Rituals are not the enemy. They are rhythms. They can be drums for the ego or drums for the heart. The difference is in what they serve. When they serve fear, they multiply it. When they serve clarity and love, they steady the hand that will still be needed no matter what comes. In the next part, we will look at the engine that drives the bargaining mind, the inner searcher and fixer that tries to hold the world still, and learn how to bow to its efforts without letting it run the house. 7, the engine of suffering, the searcher, the knower, the fixer. If you listen closely, you can hear 3 busy workers inside the mind. They mean well. They have kept you alive and functioning. One is the searcher, always scanning the horizon for the next thing. Next insight, next security, next guarantee. Another is the knower, quick with labels and conclusions, eager to turn mystery into certainty. The third is the fixer, leaning forward to improve, optimize, tighten every loose screw in the universe, including the ones and people you love. Each part evolved for good reasons. Prediction keeps us safe, understanding saves time, problem solving prevents fires. But when these workers become managers of the soul, they turn a human life into a perpetual project. We end up exhausted, not freer. Let's meet them with kindness, not warfare. The searcher arose in ancient bodies that survived by scanning for berries and tigers. The knower arose to compress experience into rules. Don't eat that plant twice. The fixer arose to patch leaks quickly. They are not enemies. They are simply over-promoted. Their tools are perfect for broken chairs and logistics, but clumsy with sadness, love, identity, and death. When they try to solve loneliness or optimize grief, suffering multiplies. How do you know you're in their grip? The signs are consistent. Speed, the breath is shallower, shoulders climb toward the ears, sentences accelerate. Tightness, jaw clenches, eyes narrow, the world shrinks to a tunnel. Urgency language, must, should, never, always. The body reads these as alarms. Future hunger. After this one fix, after this one purchase, after this one conversation, then I can rest. Rest never arrives. Certainty addiction. You feel allergic to, I don't know, even when not knowing is the truth. Helping compulsion. You can't listen without reaching for a tool. You repair people who ask to be heard, not fixed. Left unchecked, the trio colonizes spiritual practice. The searcher turns meditation into a treasure hunt. Where's the special state? Where's my breakthrough? The knower collects quotes like trophies and confuses fluency with freedom. I can explain emptiness. Why don't I feel light? The fixer micromanages the breath, forces calm, polices every thought, and then feels ashamed when the mind remains human. We end up with spiritual performance instead of intimacy, polished language, tight smiles, tired hearts. There is a middle way through this. Effort without strain, inquiry without premature closure, care without control. In the old language, right effort was 4 simple tasks. We can translate them into everyday craft. Guard the gate. Prevent what you can. If doom scrolling at night floods you with outrage, move the phone out of the bedroom, not as punishment, as intelligent design. Compost the weeds. When unhelpful states appear, notice and set them down. Envy. Name it, breathe it, and redirect attention. Do not argue with it. Compost it. Plant what you need. Gratitude, patience, courage don't appear by lecture. You plant them with specific acts. 1 sincere thank you. 1 clean boundary. 1 truthful sentence. Water the good. When steadiness shows up, let it land. Feel the ease for 10 seconds so the body learns this is home. Reinforcement is not vanity, it is training. Notice what's not in that list. Bargaining with fate, bullying yourself, or pretending not to care. The middle way is muscular and gentle at once. A few helpful portraits can make this concrete. The searcher lives on the arrival fallacy, the story that happiness waits just beyond the next hill. New job, new partner, new city, new teacher, new technique. Arrivals matter. But joy doesn't live where the searcher promises. Joy is in contact, not conquest. When the searcher quietly runs your day, even a sunrise becomes raw material for improvement. If only I had a better camera. The antidote is sufficiency practice. Whisper this to the body for 1 breath. This is enough for this moment. Not forever, just for this breath. Feel what changes. The knower is addicted to being right. It would rather hold a stale certainty than touch a living mystery. It confuses labels with life. The knower gives confidence in emergencies. Turn left now, but it suffocates intimacy. You cannot know a person by a file. You cannot know this moment by yesterday's map. The medicine is don't know mind. Practice gently. 3 times a day, pause and breathe 3 I don't knows. Not as resignation, but as openness. I don't know what this person will say next. I don't know how this meeting will unfold. I don't know who I am beyond today's story. Watch how curiosity softens the jaw. The fixer is the most praised part in our culture. It gets promotions, it gets applause. It also gets ulcers. The fixer assumes that what hurts must be eliminated quickly. But some pains are not problems to be solved. They are experiences to be held and understood. Try this diagnostic question when the fixer revs. Is this a broken bone or a broken expectation? If it's a broken bone, act. Call, mend, move. If it's a broken expectation, someone didn't behave how your story required, slow down. Feel, see, speak truth kindly, set a boundary if needed. If it's a broken system, do both. Feel fully and act collectively. Let the fixer build something useful out there while the heart stays honest in here. A bit of brain science can reassure the modern mind. The default mode network, the set of regions that hum during self-referential thinking, tends to quiet when attention rests in present moment, non-judging contact. You can feel this as a literal softening in the forehead, a widening of perspective, a drop in the compulsion to narrate. We don't need scans to know this. We can taste it for ourselves. But if your knower loves data, let it be calmed by the harmony between old wisdom and new research. How do we retrain the trio without declaring war? We befriend, name, thank, and reassign. Befriend. Of course you're here, searcher. You kept me safe when safety was scarce. Warmth disarms compulsion. Name. Fixer is online. Labeling quietly recruits awareness and reduces fusion. You are not the fixer. You are the field in which the fixer appears. Thank. Thank you, knower, for wanting clarity. Appreciation reduces inner rebellion. Reassign. Give them smaller jobs. Let the searcher look for your keys, not enlightenment. Let the knower choose a recipe, not your identity. Let the fixer tidy a drawer, not your partner's personality. Here are practices designed for these parts. 1. The 90-second urge ride. When you feel the surge to fix, buy, explain, or check, set a 90-second timer. During that minute and a half, do nothing but feel the energy move. Hands open in your lap, jaw soft, breathe low into the belly. Most urges crest and fall in less than a minute when not fed. After the timer, act if still needed. You are proving to the body that urgency is often a story, not a command. 2. The 30% rule. In formal practice, give 30% effort, enough to be upright and present, not enough to strain. Notice when you creep to 80%, brow tight, breath forced. Back off gently. Freedom grows in the space where attention is steady but ungripped. 3. The menu versus meal check. Before reading another article or buying another course, ask, do I need another menu? Or can I taste the meal here? Then do one small practice for 5 minutes. Feel the breath, call a friend, step outside. Collecting menus is the searcher's hobby. Eating is living. 4. Don't know breaths. Before hard conversations, breathe 3 slow breaths while silently saying, maybe I'll be surprised. Maybe I misunderstand. Maybe there's something truer than my first story. The knower loosens, listening enters. 5. The empathy question. When someone you love brings pain, ask, do you want empathy or ideas? If they say empathy, put the fixer on a bench. Reflect what you hear. If they say ideas, collaborate. This one sentence can save a relationship from well-intended harm. 6. The 1-inch repair. When overwhelmed by a mess at work, at home, in your heart, choose 1 square foot, 1 conversation, 1 sentence you can clean today. The fixer loves vast plans. Give it a small, winnable task. Momentum returns. Substituenter 7. The sufficiency bell. Set cues at thresholds. Car door, house door, office door. Each time you cross, whisper, enough for now. Feel the exhale. The searcher's pacing slows. Gratitude has a doorway. 8. The reassurance script. When anxiety wants control, speak to it as you would a child. We don't have to solve all of it now. We will do the next right thing. Then pick a next right thing that is doable in 5 minutes. Anxiety needs containment more than lectures. We should also talk about ambition, because many good people fear that releasing the searcher will make them lazy. The opposite is usually true. When chasing the horizon stops, energy comes home. Work becomes focused, not frantic. You can still build, create, serve, protest, and innovate. You will do it with less self-attack and more stamina. The body is designed for sustainable effort, not chronic emergency. And what about excellence? The knower tells you excellence requires harshness, but excellence under kindness is more durable. Self-respect allows feedback. Harshness breeds secret rebellion or collapse. Try this for a month. Replace not good enough with not yet. It is accurate, humane, and motivating. Not yet invites practice. Not good enough invites shame. We must also name trauma gently. Sometimes the fixer is loud because safety was scarce. The mind learned that vigilance kept you alive. If your system carries that history, go slowly. Add resources, warmth, companionship, therapy, movement. Meditation is not the only tool. Sometimes it's not the first tool. If stillness triggers panic, keep the eyes open, practice while walking, or focus on safe external anchors. Sound touch. The path bends to the nervous system you have, not to an ideal. Relationships are a superb dojo for retraining the trio. With the searcher, notice the grass is greener reflex. Practice deepening where you are. One curious question to your partner, 1 hour of undistracted play with your child, 1 act of care for your colleague. Let richness come from roots, not novelty. With the knower, trade certainty for contact. Instead of "you always," try, "When you said X, I felt Y, and I told myself Z." You move from verdict to vulnerability. With the fixer, ask permission before offering help. Would you like me to listen or to help brainstorm? Then honor the answer. Give the fixer a respectful rest. Workplaces benefit too. Meetings heavy with the knower are full of posturing. Invite, don't know, mind. What are we missing? What would change my view? Meetings driven by the fixer produce exhausted teams. Build recovery into the schedule. Celebrate iteration, not heroics. Organizations addicted to the searcher churn strategy monthly. Choose a cadence and keep it. Stability is not laziness. It is soil. When the trio calms, something remarkable becomes ordinary. Seeing happens by itself. Appropriate action appears without the inner crank turning. You discover a responsive intelligence that is not the same as the knower's quickness, nor the fixer's pressure, nor the searcher's hunger. It feels like a lantern, not a spotlight. Illumination that warms the nearby world without interrogating it. From here, discipline is not grim. It's affectionate. You keep your vows because keeping them feels like home. Let me offer 3 brief stories. A man sits to meditate, determined to crush distraction. 10 minutes in, he is miserable. He remembers the 30% rule, relaxes the brow, widens attention to include the whole body. The fixer sighs and sits down. The breath breathes itself. He feels ordinary and relieved. He stands up kinder. A woman calls a friend to rant. The friend asks, "Empathy or ideas?" She says, "Empathy." He reflects what he heard without fixing. After 10 minutes, she says, "I'm ready for one idea." The fixer gets its turn with permission. Trust thickens. A nurse ends every shift by washing her hands and whispering, "Enough for now." The searcher leans less on the next vacation. Rest tucks inside an ordinary sink. She goes home less ragged, more available to those she loves. None of this makes you passive. It makes you precise. You stop wasting energy on proving, posturing, or perfecting. You become available for the real work, relieving suffering where you can, refusing to add to it where you can't. The trio is still on the payroll. They just have better job descriptions. To close, place your hands palms up on your thighs. Feel the weight, the warmth. Whisper inwardly, "Searcher, thank you." Rest. Knower, thank you. Soften. Fixer, thank you. Sit with me. Breathe 3 slow breaths. Notice what the body does when no one is pushing it to be a miracle. This is not the end of striving, it is the end of strain. From here, training in wise effort becomes a joy rather than a judge. In the next part, we'll translate this quieter posture into simple, repeatable practices that rewire your days, small loops of attention and care that make steadiness and kindness more likely under pressure. The point is not to win at spirituality. It is to be a trustworthy human in the life you are actually living. 8. A practical way back. Small trainings woven through an ordinary day. Let's keep this simple and kind. We are not building a shrine. We are building a day that is easier to live inside. Big transformations grow from small loops repeated steadily. Frequency over intensity. Gentleness over drama. Body first, then mind, then meaning. If you can learn to place a few soft stitches of attention at the seams of your day, the whole fabric strengthens. 3 premises will guide us. Ashawini, presence is trained by repetition, not by heroics. A dozen honest returns in ordinary moments will do more than a single perfect session fueled by strain. Safety is the doorway. The more your nervous system feels safe enough, the more curiosity, compassion, and clarity can appear. We will design for cues of safety. Practice must be portable. If it only works on a cushion in silence, it will abandon you when life gets loud. We will weave skills into thresholds you already cross. Weave a day built for contact. Think of the day in 4 arcs: morning, middle, evening, and rest. Each arc has a tiny structure to open, steady, and close it. The goal is not to control life. It is to be more available to it. Shirby, morning. Ground, greet, guide, 2.5 minutes. Ground, sit or stand. Feel the soles of your feet. Soften the belly. Let one slow breath sink down. Greet, name one value you want to embody today. Steadiness, kindness, courage, clarity. Whisper it as a friendly wish, not a demand. Guide, name one concrete behavior that expresses that value. Kindness, send a sincere note to Sam. Clarity, say no to a non-essential meeting. You are telling your day how to treat your attention. Midday, downshift, direct, decide, 60-90 seconds. Downshift, relax the jaw, widen the eyes to take in the periphery, one longer exhale. Direct, ask, what matters in the next hour? Answer with one sentence. Decide, choose the next wise step you can start in 2 minutes. Begin. Evening, recall, reconcile, release, 3 to 6 minutes. Recall, let the day replay in 30 seconds. Notice one moment you were proud of and one you would handle differently. Reconcile, if you can mend something now, do it. Send the apology, set the boundary, finish the task's next small piece. Release, place a hand on the heart and say, enough for today. Feel the shoulders drop. Teach the body that days can end. Rest, nest, notate, Nestle, 2 to 3 minutes. Nest, set the room for sleep, low light, cooler air, phone out of reach. Notate, jot 3 lines in a notebook. 1 gratitude, 1 care you offered, 1 thing you set down. Nestle, lie down and breathe a gentle rhythm. Exhale slightly longer than inhale. Let the last thought be a blessing, not a bargain. May I rest. May those I love be safe. Small skills for common moments. We will gather simple tools for the body, the mind, the heart, and action. They are not tricks. They are ways to return to what is real without violence. Moi, body anchors. The tongue softener. Drop the tip of the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Tension in the jaw and neck will often follow it down. Peripheral vision. Soften your gaze to include what is at the edges. This signals safe enough to the nervous system and eases hyperfocus. Heel to toe scan. While standing, feel the heel, then the ball, then the toes of each foot. Attention drops into the ground. Wrist cool down. Run cool water over the wrist for 10 seconds when anger runs hot. It is a literal temperature change for a hot state. Surfer, mind anchors, label. Once. When a thought stream appears, label it once. Planning, remembering, comparing, then return to sensation. 1 label, not a lecture. Shelf it. Picture placing a worry on a shelf for 15 minutes. Set a timer. When it rings, you can pick it up again if needed. Most worries don't ask for their turn back. 5 count exhale. Inhale naturally, exhale to a count of 5. Do this 5 times. The vagus nerve likes this math. Heart anchors. 2-way breath. Inhale with, may I be steady. Exhale with, may you be well toward whoever is near, friend or stranger. No performance, just a quiet wish. Hand on back heart. Place a palm between your shoulder blades or imagine it. Whisper, I can be wrong and still belong. Useful when shame surges. 10-second savor. When goodness appears, a shaft of light, a kind glance, let it soak in for 10 seconds. This is not indulgence, it is training attention to notice what heals. Action anchors. The 1-step rule. When overwhelmed, identify one 60-second action and start it. Fold one shirt, draft one sentence. Movement breaks the spell. The half beat. Pause before replying in a tense moment. Silently take one half breath. That half beat can save a friendship. Threshold libraries. Tie practice to gates you already passed through. Attach one gesture to each threshold. Doors. As your hand touches the handle, feel your feet and ask, what room do I want to be in? Inside. Choose one quality and enter with it. Screens. Before unlocking a device, ask, for what? Name one purpose. If you cannot name it, wait 60 seconds. Water. When washing hands or pouring tea, breathe and let one worry flow out with the stream. Wheels. At red lights, soften your eyes, relax the hands, drop the shoulders. You will still arrive, and you'll bring less heat with you. In the wild, protocols for tricky states. Different states deserve different medicine. Here are 5 quick protocols for common storms. Heat, anger. Protocol, cool the system. 1, lower the chin slightly. This relaxes the back of the neck. 2, exhale longer than you inhale for 3 breaths. 3, place a cool glass or wrist under water. 4, ask, what am I protecting? If it's a value, proceed wisely. If it's pride, pause. Fog, numbness, shut down. Protocol, add brightness and movement. 1, sit tall or stand up. 2, look at something far away, then something close 3 times. 3, name 5 colors in the room. 4, walk slowly for 1 minute, swinging the arms gently. Turn, flight, anxious rush. Protocol, contain and choose. 1, place a hand on the belly, feel 1 full breath. 2, name 3 things you can do in the next hour. 3, choose 1. Start it for 2 minutes and reassess. Shame flush protocol, restore dignity without denial. 1, lengthen the spine, lift the breastbone slightly. 2, place a hand on the back heart and breathe. 3, say aloud, I made a mistake, I can repair. Plan 1 repair. Grief wave protocol. Let it move without drowning. 1, sit near a window if you can. 2, speak the name of who or what you miss. 3, breathe 3 soft, unforced breaths into the ribs. 4, place the memory in the light for a minute, then return to a gentle task. Micro skills for conversation. Practice grows or shrinks in the space between us. A few small habits change the texture of dialogue. Mirror, clarify, add. First, reflect what you heard in 1 sentence. Ask, did I get that? Only then add your view. This slows escalation and builds trust. 1 honest no per day. Practice a clean no daily to something small. No, I can't this week. No novel, no apology tour. This trains boundary muscles. Goodwill pings. Send 1 sincere, specific appreciation text daily. I loved how you handled that tense moment with humor. It waters connection. Exit lines. Prepare a kind exit for conversations that run hot. I care about this, and I'm too stirred up to be fair. I'll circle back this afternoon. Use it. Digital choice architecture. Make the helpful easy and the harmful inconvenient. Lock screen question. Put for what on your lock screen. Answer before you unlock. 1 screen rule. Keep only tools on the home screen. Move temptations to the second page. Friction saves willpower. Grayscale mode. Switch your phone to grayscale during work hours. Bright colors are bait. News window. Choose a 15-minute window for news. Outside of it, choose depth over doom. Environment design. Your space can help you practice. Sakranar. Create a quiet corner. A chair, a small light, perhaps a plant, nothing fancy. Let your body associate it with returning. Put cues where you move. A smooth stone by the sink for feel this breath. A small card on your desk with your value word. A bell near the door for 1 soft ring when you leave. Use scent as a switch. A drop of a favorite scent before you sit can become a cue for the body to soften. Companionship and accountability without pressure. Practice strengthens in company. Keep it light and kind. The 5-minute buddy. Text a friend at a time. Both of you sit for 5 minutes. Afterwards, send one word about the flavor. Scattered. Okay? Sweet. No analysis. Shared rhythm builds trust. Weekly review call. Give 15 minutes. Share one thing you watered, one you would like to water next, and one thing you will repair. Witness, don't fix each other. One kind thing. Thread. With 2 or 3 friends, post one act of kindness you offered that day. Keep it small. The point is to notice, not to perform. Measuring progress kindly. Progress is not a score, it is a change in texture. Shorter lag. You notice you were triggered sooner, mid-sentence rather than after an hour. Softer voice. The inner tone drops from contempt to firm kindness. Faster repair. You apologize the same day rather than the next month. Less residue. After a hard moment, your body returns to baseline more quickly. If you want a simple graph, imagine 4 lines over months. Latency, how fast you notice. Intensity, how strong the storm. Recovery time, how long it lasts. Residue, how much lingers. Watch for downward trends. Celebrate them quietly. A gentle repair protocol when you miss. You will miss. Good. Missing is part of learning. Use a simple 5-step loop. See, soothe, own, repair, reset. See, I lost it in that meeting. Soothe, 3 slow exhales. Relax the belly. Own, I spoke sharply. That's on me. Repair, I'm sorry for my tone earlier. The point stands, the way I made it does not. Next time I'll ask a question first. Reset, take 1 breath, begin again. Micro practices for joy and meaning. Practice is not only for storms. Train your nervous system to trust goodness. 3 goodness scan, 30 seconds. Identify 1 good thing you did, 1 someone else did for you, and 1 that just happened. Weather, music, luck. Let each land for a breath. Value of the day. Pick 1 value at breakfast. Wear it like a shirt. At dinner, name 1 way you lived it and 1 way you could tomorrow. Glimmer hunt. Triggers get lots of press. Glimmers deserve a channel. Once an hour, look for a small sign of safety or connection. Eye contact, warmth on skin, a shared smile. Mark it. The body relaxes more easily when it expects goodness to return. 2-minute formal sits twice a day. If you feel allergic to longer practice, begin with 2 minutes. Seriously. Anu, sit upright. Set a 2-minute timer. Feel the breath where it is clearest. When the mind wanders, nod to it once and return without argument. When the timer rings, stand and carry 1 breath into your next action. After a week, if you wish, make it 5 minutes. Let duration be the last thing that grows. Trauma-informed notes. If stillness floods you or intensity surges, adapt without shame. Practice with eyes open, looking softly at something neutral. Prefer walking, stretching, or simple chores as anchors. Keep a safe list. 3 songs, 3 scents, 3 places, 3 people you can call. If practice stirs more pain than capacity, pause and seek support. Therapy, group work, a trauma-sensitive teacher. The path honors the nervous system you have. Service is practice. Small acts of service align the heart with its best instincts. Each day, do 1 useful thing unseen. Pick up litter, wipe a counter, send a quiet recommendation, donate a small amount. Do it as training in unselfing, not as proof of worth. Once a week, contribute an hour to a cause you care about. Let your practice leak into the world. When you are tired, practice should meet you where you are. Noasa, lie down for a micro savasana, 90 seconds. Feel the weight of the body supported. Exhale a little longer than you inhale. Let the floor hold what you can't. If all you can manage is one honest sentence, "I'm overwhelmed and I need help," that can be your practice. Honesty clears space. A one-page practice plan? If you like structure, draft a simple page. Value this week. Morning, ground Greek guide. Midday, downshift direct aside. Evening, recall reconcile release. Rest, nest notate nestle. Threshold cues, door, screen, water, wheel. One conversational habit, one digital boundary. Buddy check-in plan, repair phrase I will use if needed. Put it where you will see it, not as a whip, as a lantern. A final word on attitude. Do all of this with a soft grip. We are not trying to become the best at calm. We are learning to live without adding unnecessary friction. If a practice helps, keep it. If it becomes a performance, simplify it. Trust the body's feedback. Trust the way your relationships feel. Trust the tiny sense of relief that visits when you tell the truth and act on it. As these loops take root, something shifts. Ethics stops feeling like rule-keeping and starts feeling like a way to protect quiet. You will feel the link intuitively. When I lie, the mind heats up. When I tell the truth kindly, the body breathes better. In the next part, we will make that link explicit. We'll look at precepts not as commandments, but as design principles for a clear mind and a tender heart. How living simply and cleanly is the easiest way to keep your attention free. 9. Ethics as quiet mind, precepts reimagined. Think of ethics not as a rule book, but as acoustics. When a room is full of hard angles, sound bounces and becomes harsh. When the room is built with care, absorbent materials in the right places, voices are clear, music is warm, silence is gentle. The precepts are like architectural choices for your inner room. They don't make you righteous. They make it easier to hear. You will still face pain and complexity, but you will face them without the tinny echo of self-reproach and the constant hum of hidden conflict. This is why the path cares about conduct, not as bargaining chips with the universe, but as a technology for a quieter, kinder mind. In plain terms, conduct that harms others agitates you first. Conduct that honors dignity stabilizes you first. This is not moralism, it is mechanics. Lie and your body keeps a tab open. Tension, watchfulness, the need to remember the script. Tell the truth kindly, and your system spends less energy hiding a file in the back of the cabinet. Betray a promise and rest is harder. Keep it and sleep comes easier. Ethics is ergonomic, designed to reduce friction. We will explore 5 classic commitments, updated for modern life, and then widen the lens to work, money, technology, and the planet. Let's hold them lightly as design principles, not as reasons to scold. Where you stumble, repair. Where you're unsure, choose the least harmful option and learn. 1. Commitment to non-harm, reducing aggression, widening care. Essence, do as little harm as you can and actively protect where you can. This begins with attitude and expresses through hands, words, choices. What it protects, the tenderness that lets compassion arise naturally. Your capacity to sleep without replaying scenes of domination or regret. Modern edges. Road and screen rage. Dehumanization is easy in cars and comment sections. Notice the moment the other becomes an object. Rehumanize with a simple sentence. A person with a full life is in that car. Food choices. Not everyone can be vegan. Bodies differ. Circumstances differ. The principle is to eat with care. Less waste, less cruelty where possible, more gratitude. Pests and boundaries. Killing a wasp in your child's room is not the same as sport. Aim for prevention and relocation where you can. When you must act, do so without hate and with the least violence necessary. Work culture, call out harm in policies and norms. Non-harm includes refusing to onboard cruelty into your paycheck. Practices, the flinch check. When you feel the impulse to lash, pause and breathe into the chest for 1 cycle. Ask, and what am I protecting? If it is safety, act firmly. If it is ego, soften first. The protection list. Write 3 people or places you will protect this month. A colleague undercut in meetings, a tree in your block, your own sleep. Plan 1 act for each. Signs of alignment. You recover faster after conflict. You feel less compelled to win. Compassion shows up without rehearsing. 2, commitment to not taking what is not freely given. Honoring boundaries and trust. Essence, do not seize what wasn't offered. Money, time, credit, attention, ideas. Return what isn't yours. Ask before using. What it protects, simplicity. The nervous system rests when you don't have to hide receipts or polish a stolen story. Modern edges, time theft, chronic lateness, endless meetings without purpose, pick your brain, requests that ignore boundaries. All forms of taking. Respect time as you would cash. Digital piracy and attribution. Streams, software, ideas. Give credit, pay when you can, cite creators. If you genuinely can't pay, at least amplify credit. Workplace credit, attribute contributions publicly. This was Maya's idea. Integrity scales. Data, treat others' information as sacred. Do not forward private messages without consent. Do not harvest trust for clicks. Your practices. The ask first reflex. Before using, sharing, or borrowing, pause long enough to ask. Build a short script. May I share this? Is this a good time? The credit line. In public updates, include a sentence that names collaborators. It trains your mind away from scarcity. The money cleanup. Once a month, reconcile, repay, donate. Tidying numbers quiets background noise. Signs of alignment. Less hiding, fewer white-knuckle moments at tax time, clearer relationships. 3, commitment to sexual integrity. Consent, honesty, non-exploitation. Essence, let intimacy be guided by mutuality, clarity, and care. Do not use the body or affection as currency or anesthesia. What it protects, trust in yourself and in those who share life with you. Coherence, the sense that your words, vows, and actions rhyme. Modern edges. Consent as process, not a one-time yes, but an ongoing conversation. Power differences, age, role, resources, complicate consent. Take the lower power perspective seriously. Secret lives, affairs, hidden apps, pretending to be fine while starving or drowning. Secrecy corrodes. If you are in a bind, seek wise help before you burn down your house. Workplace flirtation. Flattery and venting that meet unmet needs. Be honest with yourself. Set clean boundaries. Pornography, minding the mind. Does consumption numb, isolate, distort expectations, or harm others in production? If yes, reduce, detox, or seek support. Practices. The values talk. Name your values with your partners. Agree on guardrails. Revisit them. Clarity is kindness. The HALT rule. Don't make big intimacy decisions when hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Wait for baseline. Good choices need oxygen. The no harm check. Before pressing send or crossing a line, ask, if this were printed on the front page with names blacked out, would I feel proud of the care I took? Signs of alignment. Fewer secrets, deeper ease in the body, trust that can survive conflict. 4, commitment to truthful, helpful, timely, gentle speech. Essence, use words to reveal reality and reduce harm. Truth without kindness is a weapon. Kindness without truth is sentimentality. What it protects, the clarity of your own mind. Lies multiply tabs, truth closes them. Gossip erodes trust, honest care builds it. A practical filter, 4 gates. True, is it factual? If not sure, say so. My sense is, beats false confidence. Helpful, Will saying it move anything toward good? Venting has its place. Choose the right container. Timely. Is now a wise time? Some truths ripen, some rot if delayed. Gentle. Can the tone carry the truth without unnecessary shrapnel? Modern edges. Email and text. Brevity removes tone. Read it once in a neutral voice before sending. Add one sentence that shows care without diluting clarity. Social media. Ask, am I adding light or heat? Would I say this to a person's face? Outrage is addictive. Don't be a dealer. Sarcasm. Funny, often cutting. Check if humor hides resentment. Say the thing without the mask. Gossip. Speaking about someone who isn't there. Try the absent praise rule. If you mention someone, name one strength too. Or practice a weekly gossip fast. Key practices. The rehearsal out loud. Before a hard conversation, speak your main sentence into a voice memo. Adjust for clarity and warmth. The one-question rule. In conflict, ask one question before asserting. Curiosity depressurizes. The repair trio. If you misspeak, name it, I overstated. Own impact, that made it harder. And reset, let me say it plainly. Samana, signs of alignment. Fewer email replays at night. Conversations that end with understanding rather than scorched earth. 5. Commitment to mindful intake. Intoxicants, information, and stimulation. Essence, protect clarity. Avoid what blurs the mind or hijacks the nervous system. This includes alcohol and drugs, and also outrage, sugar, noise, and compulsive screens. What it protects: your ability to choose rather than react. Your sleep, which is the cheapest medicine. Modern edges. Alcohol. Know your dose. If just one flips the switch, choose none. If it harms your relationships or work, ask for help. There is no shame in needing allies. Stimulants. Caffeine can be a friend. Learn your window. Don't use it to bully a tired body indefinitely. Media diet. Doom scrolling is an intoxicant. So are conspiracy spirals and influencer envy. Set windows. Choose depth over drip. Workaholism. Busyness as a drug. The culture will praise your addiction. Your body won't. Twana practices. The clarity window. Pick 2 hours a day with zero intoxicants, including screens and sugar. Guard it like a meeting with your future self. The Sabbath light. 1/2 day a week with low inputs. Walk, cook, sit with a friend, read one paper book. The mind resets. The companion swap. Replace one drink or scroll with a call to a human. Connection outperforms sedation. Signs of alignment. Smoother mood, better sleep, more availability for nuance under stress. Right livelihood. Work that doesn't fracture you. Essence. Earn a living in ways that do not require you to harm or lie habitually. If your role props up harm, name it and work toward change. From within if possible, by leaving if necessary. A gentle audit. What does my work make more of in the world? Where does my job pressure me to shade the truth? Who bears the cost of what I sell? What is one lever I can pull this quarter to align better? Transparency, sourcing, client selection, carbon, culture. Remember, not everyone can choose freely. Debt, caregiving, health, all matter. Aim for better rather than perfect. Small shifts accumulate. Money clean hands, open hands. Earn cleanly, spend consciously, give regularly within your means. Practices. Accountability partner for finances. Someone who will ask you kind, hard questions. Automatic generosity. Set a small, recurring gift to a cause. Increase when you can. Delay big purchases 48 hours. Most urges cool. Technology and privacy, dignity by design. Default to consent. Assume anything you share can travel. Do not use secrets as currency. Protect the vulnerable, including your future self. Planetary care. Belonging with the more than human world. Reduce waste where you can. Eat lower on the chain when possible. Vote and spend in ways that reflect care. Don't get paralyzed. Pick 2 actions and do them consistently. When you break a precept, the art of clean repair. You will. We all do. Ethics without repair is brittle perfectionism. Ethics with repair is resilient. The clean repair loop. Acknowledge, I did X. No hedging. Impact. It caused Y for you and Z and me. Amends. Here is what I will do to repair A, B, C. Boundary. Vow. Here is how I will prevent a repeat. D. Deliver in person if safe. Do not ask for forgiveness as a pressure move. Let trust grow back at the speed of the person you harmed. Self-forgiveness is not forgetting. It is agreeing to be guided by conscience rather than shame. Shame says, I am irredeemable. Conscience says, I can repair. Ethics under pressure. Pre-commitments and playbooks. Pre-commitments help when adrenaline spikes. Draft a few. When I feel cornered, I will ask for 5 minutes before deciding. When gossip starts, I will redirect or leave. When I'm tempted to mislead, I will name 1 true sentence instead. Create playbooks for hot zones. Travel, holidays, late nights at the office. Plan safe exits. Allies to call. Phrases to use. The feel of real integrity. It is quieter than you think. Not a halo, not a brand. More like a clean window. Light passes through without grabbing dust. Markers. Fewer rehearsals and fewer cover stories. A body that settles more quickly after hard choices. Relationships that can bear disagreement without collapse. The ability to say no without apology and yes without fear. Weekly precept labs. Experiments, not exams. Try one each week. Notice the mental acoustics, not just the outcomes. Week 1, gossip fast. 7 days of no negative talk about anyone not in the room. Journal how your mind feels. Week 2, radical honesty with kindness. No white lies. If you can't say it kindly, say I'll get back to you. Practice clarity without cruelty. Week 3, money clarity. Track every expense. Give a small gift anonymously. Pay 1 lingering debt. Sorry, week 4, intake reset. No screens in bed. 1 news window daily. No alcohol on weeknights. Sleep is a sacred precept. Week 5, speechcraft. Apply the 4 gates before 1 hard talk. Debrief with a friend. Week 6, boundaries. 1 clean no a day. Feel the body's response. Ethics in the heart. The 4 friendships rules harden without warmth. The heart needs companions, goodwill, compassion, gladness, equanimity. Treat them as ethical muscles, not moods. Goodwill. May you be safe and at ease. Practice in traffic, in line, on hold. It reduces casual cruelty. Compassion. I see the pain. May you meet it with care. Practice with those you disagree with. It reduces contempt. Gladness. May your good grow. Practice when envy pricks. It reduces rivalry. Equanimity. I will care without controlling. Practice when outcomes wobble. It reduces panic. Collective ethics. Beyond the self. Bring these principles to teams, schools, neighborhoods. Set norms. Praise in public, critique in private. No email after hours. Clear meeting agendas. Transparent pay bands where possible. Build repair into culture. Regular retrospectives that include what did we harm? How will we fix it? Include the unheard. Design decisions with those affected, not just for them. Remember, systems shape behavior. Advocate for architectures that make good conduct easier. The middle way in morally messy terrain. You will face dilemmas without perfect options. Ask, which option reduces total harm now and later? Which preserves trust and truth the most? What does my body know when I imagine each choice? Choose, then accept that some ache is the price of caring. The goal is not a spotless record, it is a faithful one. A short prayer for integrity, no bargains. May my conduct protect clarity. May my words land softly where they can and firmly where they must. May my appetite serve aliveness, not numb it. May my work add something worth keeping. When I fail, may I repair quickly. When I'm lost, may I ask for help. And may I keep walking in a way that lets others rest near me. As conduct steadies, something simple happens. Precepts keep themselves. You discover that not lying is easier than lying, that kindness costs less energy than cruelty, that restraint protects joy. Ethics becomes less about saying no and more about saying yes to a mind you trust. From here, the final turn is natural. Life continues with its ordinary pains and pleasures, but without the old center of struggle. We will close by looking at the feel of that ordinariness. How freedom shows up, not in fireworks, but in the way you do the dishes, take a phone call, and meet tears with a soft towel and a clear eye. 10. After the end of the problem, ordinary, tender, free, there is no finish line to break, no trumpet waiting at the curb. One day you simply notice that the private quarrel you carried everywhere has grown quiet. The traffic still hums, a bill still needs paying, someone dear still aches, and yet the old center of struggle is missing. It's like setting down a backpack you forgot you were wearing. Your back straightens. Breath moves without asking permission. Nothing spectacular happens, and that is the relief. The miracle is how unspectacular life feels when you stop arguing with it. This is what I mean by the end of the problem, not the end of pain, not the end of responsibility, not exemption from the common weather of being human. Rather, the end of the unnecessary second act, the tightening, the self-story, the relentless narration that turned every ripple into a verdict and every difficulty into a personal indictment. The world remains full. The fight with the world ends. How does it feel? Like room. There is more space in your chest, more air between stimulus and response. Words come slower, softer, cleaner. You find yourself pausing before the old surge, not as a technique, but as a reflex of care. Sometimes you laugh, not at anyone's expense, but at the way your mind used to dramatize every small thing. Humor returns, not as defense, but as lightness. You stop performing your life. You live it. Emotions still visit, and thank goodness. They are signs of life, but they are no longer tenants with a lease. Anger arrives. You feel its heat. You address what needs addressing. It leaves its shoes at the door and departs. Grief swells. You cry cleanly. You keep your heart open to the love inside the ache. Joy appears like sunlight across a table. You taste it without gripping the glass. The clarity is not that you feel less. It is that you add less to what you feel. The knot doesn't cinch. If you listen inside such a day, you notice a new quiet source, like a small spring feeding everything. Decisions draw from it. Speech draws from it. Touch draws from it. The spring is not mystical. It is the unburdened ordinary. Attention without panic, care without self-importance, strength without hardness. You don't need to advertise it. People around you notice anyway. The way they notice when a room is well ventilated. They breathe easier near you and may not know why. This freedom shows up in places you once overlooked. In the kitchen, you rinse a cup and feel the warmth of the water. No sermon, just the dignity of a small task done without resentment. The mind isn't trying to be anywhere else. Time doesn't stretch or contract. It simply belongs to the act. Hi, on a call. Someone complains and you don't collapse into fixing or defensiveness. You listen. You recognize the texture of their pain without needing to own or erase it. You speak one clear sentence when it helps. You stay silent when it doesn't. In a meeting, Credit passes easily through your hands toward those who earned it. You find that generosity is efficient. It reduces friction, grows trust, and returns to you as ease. On a walk, you notice a small thing, a leaf's underside, the smell after rain, and feel a soft appreciation. It doesn't have to mean anything. Not meaning anything is its meaning. Preferences remain. You still enjoy your coffee a certain way, your music at a certain volume, your alone time at certain hours. But fixation lets go. You can adjust without the inner prosecutor calling it a loss. You become less brittle. I would like replaces I must have. Not now replaces never. These small shifts save relationships. Boundaries clarify too. Saying no becomes cleaner. Fewer paragraphs, more respect. You stop making yourself the hero in subtle ways. You stop making others the villain in subtle ways. You can hold a line without needing a courtroom. And when you fail, you will. Repair is quick and simple. Pride doesn't throw itself in front of the apology. Work changes texture. Excellence stops being a negotiation with fear and becomes a form of care. You do the task well because a well-done task creates less suffering and more usefulness. You don't have to sabotage yourself to appear modest. You don't have to inflate yourself to feel safe. You speak directly about problems because indirectness wastes life. You praise specifically because it teaches. You critique without poison because poison lingers in your own mouth first. The creativity that emerges is quiet and steady. It's less genius and more craft. You keep showing up to your instrument, your notebook, your code, your classroom, your garden bed. You don't wait for perfect moods. You let practice carry you across moods. Improvement still matters, but it is no longer an identity referendum. Each iteration is another stitch in a useful fabric. Love gets simpler, which is to say deeper. You let people be who they are without abandoning your own clarity. You stop rehearsing conversations that haven't happened. You stop testing people in your head. You ask the extra question in real time. You tell the small truth. You forgive more quickly and more wisely, not as spiritual theater, but as an act of hygiene. You protect those who need protection, including yourself, because care without protection is not care. Activism and service become durable. You can show up for hard things, policy, protest, mutual aid, without burning your heart into cinders. You recognize that anger can be clean fuel when guided by love and accuracy. You refuse to be seduced by rage's cheap fireworks. You learn to rest. You learn to switch hands. You share the load. The cause benefits because martyrs don't last. Teams built from steadiness do. As for aging, illness, and death, the body still follows its seasons. Joints speak their language. Cells misbehave. You stand at bedsides you wish you didn't have to stand at. What changes is your intimacy with these realities. You don't look away. You don't drown. You prepare without obsession. You savor without clinging. You handle paperwork with the same attention you bring to a hug. You follow the instructions on the moment you are in. Help, hold, hydrate, call, rest, laugh, weep. When your own time draws close, you do not need a grand statement. You tidy, you thank, you bless, you let go the way a hand opens in sleep. If there is any badge, you misplace it immediately. Freedom doesn't want to be a brand. The identity-free person feels heavy in your pocket. You don't correct others' language or audition for sainthood. You stop selling your sincerity. You would rather make soup. What about teachings? You carry them the way a traveler carries matches, useful when needed, light enough to forget you have them. At a certain point, you realize that some tools have done their work. You thank them and set them on the shelf. The grip loosens around terms and maps. You use what helps the people you love. You do not argue about names. The point was never the labels. The point was the reduction of harm and the widening of tenderness. Are there markers to reassure the doubting part of you? A few, if you like. You notice you are less fascinated by yourself. The inner camera turns outward not as avoidance, but as interest. The world is more interesting than your story about the world. You find it easier to be wrong. The body doesn't seize when evidence contradicts your view. Curiosity outpaces defensiveness. You recover faster from storms. The nervous system returns to baseline more quickly. You don't stack grievance on top of pain. You need less from approval. Praise warms you. You do not chase it. Criticism stings. You do not become it. You delight more often without reason. The ordinary is vivid. Gratitude arrives on a Tuesday for no particular cause. There are pitfalls, of course, subtle ones. The mind might try to privatize freedom. This is my special state, and build a nest out of it. Gently you notice and laugh. The mind might get lazy and call it peace, skipping repair and discipline. Gently you re-enter your vows. The mind might harden freedom into a theory and judge others who don't speak it. Gently you remember how long it took you to soften, and you bow to everyone's pace. The work now is maintenance. Clean, modest, consistent. Maintenance looks like this. Shason, keeping your simple practices alive because they keep you honest, not because you fear punishment without them. Shakunen, staying near good company. People who don't flatter you, who love you, who reflect you, who ask you to keep your word. Ofonamuna, telling the truth sooner when you drift. The longer the gap, the more moss grows. Tiu, letting delight count as practice. You are not only a firefighter, you are allowed to enjoy being alive. Continuing to learn. Freedom is not a wall, it is an open field. There is room for more skill, more nuance, more mercy. In quiet moments, you may feel something like reverence for how ordinary this all is. A pot on the stove, a light in a window, a late message from a friend, a hand on a shoulder. These have always been the places where life revealed itself. The path did not add glory to them. It removed the film that kept you from seeing their quiet radiance. If you want a simple courage to carry in your pocket for rough days, try this. When you wake, ask, what one small thing can I do to reduce harm today? Do that. It might be an email you've avoided, a trash bag taken out, a sincere thank you, a nap. At midday, ask, what one small thing can I do to increase care today? Do that. A glass of water, a walk, a call, a boundary. At night, ask, what one small thing can I set down now? Set it down for 12 hours. If it returns tomorrow, you will meet it rested. These are not strategies to win at life. They are ways of cooperating with a life that was never against you, only misunderstood. There is no mission to convert anyone. If people ask, you share what is useful and leave the rest alone. If they don't ask, you bake bread and bring it over when their lights are on late. You become more interested in being kind than being right. You trust that kindness is a decent kind of right. Sometimes you will feel a sudden tenderness for the person you were, the one who clenched, who bargained, who stayed up late rehearsing arguments. You will want to place a hand on that version of you and say, thank you for trying so hard. Rest. That too is practice. That too is part of freedom, the ability to include your own history without turning it into a cage. If you want a closing for this whole journey, let it be ordinary. Sit at the edge of your bed. Feel your feet meet the floor. Let your hands rest open on your thighs. Inhale softly. Exhale a little longer. Whisper if you like. May I be a place of rest for those who need it, including myself. May I act when action relieves suffering. May I refrain when refrain relieves suffering. May I keep my promises. May I forgive quickly and repair cleanly. May I remember that life is enough without my drama. May I keep my heart porous to the world. Then get up. Turn off a light you don't need. Drink a glass of water. Check on someone. Add your piece of better to the day. The path continues as steps, not as spectacle. The freedom you taste is the flavor of being a person whose inner room is quiet enough for care to echo clearly. That is all, and it is more than enough.